Hello and welcome to everyone to our webinar today. Welcome wherever you are joining us from. We have candidates and applicants and individuals registered for our event today from many countries around the world. And welcome to each and every one of you. My name is Ron Hoppe. I have the great privilege of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions, and it is my great pleasure to spend this time with you today. At the outset, let me share a couple of things that will be of interest to you. The first is, as we go along today, you will see there is a chat button on your screen, and I encourage you to submit your questions using the chat feature. My colleague Tracy Drake is with me on the presentation today. Tracy will be monitoring the questions and will be helping to facilitate our question and answer period that we will have at the end of the presentation today. Also, it is not necessary for you to take copious or detailed notes over the course of the presentation today, as everyone that is on the presentation today will also receive a recording of this presentation within 24 hours. So sometime around this same time tomorrow morning, you will get an email to the email address that you use to register for this event with a complete recording of the presentation today. Just as we prepare to start, I would ask if you'd be so kind to take a moment and just type into the chat feature where you are joining us from today. If you would be kind enough just to type in the country where you are currently joining us from, that would be greatly appreciated. We're always interested to see where it is that our participants are joining us from. The topic for the presentation today is International Nursing Opportunities in 2022. And just as we get into the presentation today, let me say that, we have come through 2021, which has been another year heavily impacted by COVID, which followed closely on the heels of 2021 or 2020 rather, which was completely disrupted in many ways by the COVID pandemic. So here, as we approach Christmas of 2021, we have endured almost 2 years of uncertainty, of difficulty, of restrictions, inability to live our normal routines. And yet, for those of you that are registered nurses, the future has never been brighter in the context of the opportunities that you have in front of you. In our time together today, I want to take a little different approach than what we normally do, and really talk with all of you about how nursing really has become a global career. We here at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions are probably best known for working with international healthcare providers around the world, specifically in the area of nurse recruiting. And certainly nurse recruitment to the US remains a core aspect of our ongoing daily work. But as time has gone on over the past 2 years, we have also increasingly expanded our scope in response to this reality that nursing is a global career. And today, we are able to support healthcare professionals from countries all around the world who are seeking to advance themselves personally and professionally and economically, not only in relocating to the United States, but also to other areas within the world. Today, we're going to focus really on two of those primary geographies that I think will be of interest to most of you that are on the call today. and that is the Gulf region or the Middle East. We're going to talk about opportunities there. And then we're going to talk about opportunities in the United States as we look forward to 2022. So with that brief introduction, let me move on, and we'll talk for a few moments about what we refer to as the GCC, which is the abbreviation for Gulf Cooperation Council. Also, this part of the world is commonly referred to as the Middle East. And you can see the countries here highlighted in green, being the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Oman. These are the countries that we are talking about when, in fact, we are talking about the GCC. Now, let me take a moment and just share with you some reasons why you may want to consider starting your international career path in the GCC, as opposed to trying to move directly from your home country directly to the United States. I'm not saying that that can't be done, but for some applicants, the GCC actually represents a very viable stepping stone on your international career path. So reasons to consider the GCC, the first one is really fast visa processing for many of the GCC countries. One of the challenges today with migration to the U.S., and we'll talk about this in some detail here in just a few moments, is the length of time that is required for the processing of a U.S. visa. It is possible to get a visa to work in one of the Gulf countries far more quickly. Obviously, if you're able to get that visa more quickly, it also gives you the opportunity to relocate and earn a higher salary in one of the Gulf countries than you may be earning in your home country currently. Licensure in the Gulf countries is less onerous than U.S. requirements. There is for all countries an examination requirement, but it is not nearly as challenging as the NCLEX exam. And really, as an applicant, you will have very minimal out-of-pocket expenses. So if your longer-term plan, or if your ultimate plan is to get to the United States, but perhaps you are also looking for an opportunity more in the short term or immediate term, you may wish to consider the Gulf region for the reasons that are listed here on this particular slide. There's also additional reasons to consider working preliminarily or initially in the Gulf region, and that is it will provide you with an opportunity to gain valuable clinical experience. For many of you that may be relocating from countries that are considered to be developing countries, one of the key attractive characteristics of the healthcare system in the Gulf region is that increasingly it is made up of not only more modern facilities, but also Western style management, the latest equipment and technology, the latest operating practices. So working in one of the Gulf countries may give you additional valuable clinical experience in a more modern clinical setting, and this will only strengthen your application to the U.S. Likewise, this would also be a great opportunity if you have not worked abroad previously to have the opportunity of learning to succeed while you are working away from home. The process of relocating from your home country, to another culture, is a very significant undertaking. And having had that experience once, I think you will find that subsequently making a further relocation to the United States or elsewhere will be far smoother, a far less challenging um, proposition for you. So these are just a couple of reasons to consider the Gulf. WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions has in fact opened an office in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, specifically to work with employers there and candidates there um, in supporting our efforts to recruit to that part of the world. So we look forward to further building out our office there in 2022, adding additional staff resources so that we are best able to support all applicants that are interested in working there, as well as the employers that we are recruiting on behalf of. So that's a little bit about the Gulf. Now let's pivot and let's focus on reasons why you would want to consider in 2022 relocating directly to the United States. One of the really attractive aspects of immigrating to the United States as a registered nurse or as other healthcare professionals is that you have the opportunity when you will arrive on day one as a permanent resident. You will have what is known as a green card visa. It is a visa that never expires and never needs to be renewed. And not only that, your immediate family members, immediate family being your spouse and or unmarried children up to the age of 21, are able to join you. They will receive their permanent resident visas at the same time that you do. And permanent residency also provides you with a clear path to citizenship. Once you arrive in the United States as a permanent resident and you maintain permanent residency status for a period of 5 years, then you are able to immediately apply at the end of that 5-year period, apply you and your entire family to become US citizens. This last point, it might seem a little bit unusual to you, but as we speak with nurses all around the world, one of the very concerning things that we hear is that nursing is not a respected profession. In the United States, nursing most certainly is a respected profession, and certainly the profile of nursing and all manner of healthcare providers has risen significantly over this past 2-year period of time, as nurses have served in a very public way on the front lines of the COVID epidemic, caring not only for COVID patients, but also stepping into the gap to care for other patients where staff resources have had to be diverted. So these are certainly some of the key reasons applicants generally consider the United States to be the primary international destination for migrating healthcare professionals from around the world. Additional reasons to consider the United States, obviously, is nurses are very well compensated. You have the opportunity to receive a very attractive compensation and benefits package. I know we have individuals on from many countries this morning. I've just kind of been perusing the chat. And we do have many people joining us from the Philippines, many people joining us from Nigeria, from Ghana, from the UAE. And I noted here on this slide that there are large Filipino communities nationwide in the US. I will add to that that there are large ethnic communities for many of the ethnic groups and migrant groups from around the world, including Nigeria, Ghana, UAE, and elsewhere. So the United States is very quickly becoming a far more diverse, ethnically diverse country by virtue of continued migration and increased immigration to the United States. So as you relocate, whatever community you happen to be in, I think you will find that you will have fellow countrymen in your community to be part of your native community. As we come to the end of 2021 and the challenges that the last couple of years have brought, I do have to say to each and every one of you that the American dream is alive and well. What is the American dream? The American dream is the opportunity to not only live in America, but it is the reality of life in America that if you work diligently, if you conduct yourself civilly, and if you are organized in your day-to-day affairs, that you have every opportunity to succeed. You have every opportunity to succeed personally. You have every opportunity to succeed professionally in your career and advance in your career. You have every opportunity to succeed economically. It is all there. It is available for those individuals who migrate to the United States and have the discipline and the commitment to pursue their future plans and goals in a strategic and a systematic way. The American dream at the end of 2021 is alive, it is well, and it is available to each and every one of you if that's the choice that you would make for your future. Now, as we talk about opportunities in the United States, if you are a nurse, you will be familiar with the term NCLEX or NCLEX exam, right? The NCLEX exam is the US exam that all nurses need to take and pass, including all domestic graduates of nursing programs in the United States. And without the NCLEX exam, it is impossible for anyone to obtain a registered nursing license in the US. And more importantly, for individuals that have been internationally educated and that were born abroad, the NCLEX exam is also required in order to be able to initiate an immigration application for you as a registered nurse. But let us talk about options that you may have even without NCLEX, right? So the first option, if you've not yet passed the NCLEX exam, the first option that you have is that you register, prepare for, take, and pass the NCLEX exam in 2022. There are many good NCLEX review programs and review centers available to support you in this effort. And although in past months, as the pandemic has impacted NCLEX testing as well, it's been somewhat more difficult to schedule an NCLEX test appointment, but nevertheless, it does remain an option. And with some planning and persistence, one option you may decide to pursue in the near future heading into 2022 is that you will take and pass the NCLEX exam. But as I said at the outset, you also have options that you can pursue immediately without the NCLEX exam, and that is, again, hearkening back to the opportunity I shared initially about going to relocating, working in a GCC, where you can earn more money and gain more experience. You can prepare for and write the NCLEX exam while you are working in the GCC. And then ultimately from the GCC, you can relocate to the United States. So you can see on this little graphic here to the right, we have these countries or the regions labeled with the number 1. So we have Africa, we have Asia, we have Europe, all with the opportunity of moving into the Gulf region, which is labeled as number 2 on this graphic. And then ultimately from there, relocating across to America. So this is an option that you have, options rather, that you have if you don't already have your NCLEX exam. As we prepare for 2022, I'm excited to share some news and some updates with you that I'm pretty sure most of you will not be aware of as it relates to our company here at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions. We have made a commitment over the course of this past year to truly be your global recruiter. As of today, we have offices and staff located in the Philippines, both in Manila and in Cebu. As I mentioned earlier, we have an office in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Our head office is here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am this morning. And I'm also very excited to share with you that on January 1st, just a few days from now, we will be opening our office in Idaho here in the United States to give us broader geographic coverage here in the US. We are recruiting today for positions in various Gulf countries and literally for direct hire permanent placement in 47 of the 50 states here in the US. Let me just pause here and also share this thought. You know, most of you may be familiar with an expression that's very common here in the United States, and that expression is timing is everything. And that expression intends to share or communicate the idea that often in life, simply being in the right place at the right time can significantly impact your future or the outcome of your current situation. So when we say timing is everything, let me say to each and every one of you that is on the call here today that your timing is great. Your timing is very fortunate. Whether you are planning on taking the NCLEX exam in the foreseeable future with a view towards moving to the US, whether you've recently taken and passed the NCLEX exam, or whether you have not yet taken the NCLEX exam, your timing is very good in that the opportunities for you to obtain a great position with a great employer, either in the Gulf region or somewhere in the United States, has never been greater than it is right now. In the Gulf region, employers there are again beginning to very rapidly staff up as hospital utilization there begins to return to normal. And in the United States, the number of nursing positions available currently has never been as great as it is today. I have been doing this work now for almost 24 years. And over that period of time, we have seen various cycles of high demand, lower demand, and the demand that we're seeing today first of all, is unprecedented. And secondly, I don't believe it's part of a cycle of up and down. I believe we're very much at the front end of a new trend line that's going to remain strong and present international nurses with terrific opportunities for the long foreseeable future. So your timing is perfect. Your timing is good. The opportunities before you have never been better. And the entire WorldWide HealthStaff team, whether it's our team here in the US, in the UAE, or in the Philippines, is all working daily and available to each of you daily to help support you on the next step of your career path, whatever that might be. One of the key commitments that we have here at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions is that we, in 2022, are going to have a renewed and expanded commitment to personal service. Over the past year, we have grown quickly in relation and along with the demand for our services. And with that type of growth does come some challenges as well. But through all of this, our highest and first priority and commitment is to provide the best possible service to each and every one of our candidates. We believe that by providing the best possible service to our candidates, it allows us to provide the best possible service to our employers. And obviously, that allows us then to work with the largest number of employers and in turn, offer you, our candidates, the largest number of opportunities. We are working at putting in enhanced processes and a larger team on our recruiting side, on our recruiting teams, so that we can field your initial inquiries in a shorter period of time than ever before. We now have a standard of responding to initial inquiries within 2 business days. We're working to bring that response time down to 1 working day. And as we get into 2022, before we get to the middle of 2022, we're hoping to be able to have in place a live 24/7 response capability for all candidate inquiries. So that is an important aspect of our service commitment to our applicants going forward in 2022. Whether we are helping you find a position in the Gulf or here in the United States or perhaps even elsewhere, once you have accepted a health staff job offer, or rather a job offer from one of our employers, you will be immediately partnered with a dedicated case manager, a health staff case manager. I like to say that your case manager is going to become your new best friend. They will be literally walking beside you step by step along your path to wherever it is that you will be employed. Not only will they be walking with you step by step, they will help you navigate next steps and to be forward looking, so that at all times, not only will you be able to complete the task or the requirements at hand, you will always be fully informed of what the next steps are, so you can continually be preparing proactively so that your application can proceed as quickly as possible without delays, so that you are able to arrive at your destination country in the shortest possible time. At the time that you are scheduled for your embassy interview, you will be partnered with someone on our relocations and onboarding team. This team has also grown significantly. They've developed some fantastic resources to help you prepare for your relocation. They've prepared some resources that you can use that will be beneficial to your family members, and they will work with you closely throughout your planning for your relocation, the actual relocation process itself, and ensuring that you are get off to a very good start and a smooth start working with your new employer, wherever that may be. Getting you, as I said, to the GCC and to the US as soon as possible is our very highest priority. Getting you there as quickly as possible, getting you there, of course, in a way that is in full compliance with all of the requirements, and in that effort, ensuring that you're able to get there in the shortest possible time. To recap what I've shared with you previously, our commitment in 2022 is being even expanded further in the area of personal service that we will be providing to candidates starting from the time of your initial inquiry to your arrival in your country of placement and even beyond. We are working to optimize every step of the immigration and relocation process for whatever countries we are working in. It is not sufficient simply to help you file a visa application and then just sit back and let that process play out however it may. We are carefully evaluating each step along the way from the time that you have a job offer, even before that, your interview, your job offer, the preparation of your visa application, the processing of your visa application, working with you through the licensure processes. We are evaluating every single step and have constantly considering how it is that each step could possibly be streamlined, how that step might be able to be completed a day more quickly, 2 days more quickly, a week more quickly. And we are increasingly using data from our operations to evaluate the progress of candidates individually, the progress of candidates as a group. And our focus going forward is very, very strong on optimizing every step of the immigration and relocation process for the benefit of you, our candidate, and the benefit of our employers, healthcare employers around the world. All in all, you can simply say that our commitment is to help prepare you for success. And that is what we are doing. When we talk about process optimization, it might be an odd phrase to hear when we're talking about recruitment opportunities, but just to be a little bit more granular, when I talk about process optimization, it means things like we will provide you with your own personalized immigration roadmap that will lay out very clearly each and every step that you will need to complete on your journey, where you, regardless of the country that you are headed to. And again, we are increasingly using advanced data analytics and continuous process improvement techniques to ensure that you are able to make that relocation in the very shortest time possible. Ways in which we help prepare you for success. Many countries that are recruiting nurses from outside of their borders require applicants to have either passed the IELTS or TOEFL English language tests. One of those, we are putting in place a study and prep resources for our candidates to help them successfully complete either the IELTS or the TOEFL exam. We also work closely with all our candidates to help you prepare for your visa interview with whichever embassy you may be interviewing, particularly if this will be your first time for applying for and receiving a visa. The embassy interview process itself can sometimes appear fairly intimidating because of the unknown. You're not quite sure what to expect, but we will be at your side even through that part of the process as we help you prepare for that, to alleviate many of your concerns and to remove much of the uncertainty, that you can attend your embassy interview appointment with confidence, with a clear understanding of what will transpire during that appointment with you. We have developed new pre-orientation education programs relevant to the country in which you will be working. Again, this is online learning materials that we have developed using Lippincott Learning. Lippincott is probably the largest content provider of nursing educational programs. And so we have partnered with them and have made available custom-made, tailored online learning modules to which you will have access for free, and which are designed to help you get off to a quick start in your new position. The process of relocating from your home country or from any country to another country is a daunting one for everyone at every stage in life. I recall 18 years ago, personally, my wife and I, we are Canadians. We were born and raised in Canada. And 18 years ago, as adults, we relocated from Canada to the United States, which I thought wouldn't be a big deal. Thought it would be fairly simple, and I was surprised to see just how many issues and how many things had to be addressed, and just how complex it was even moving from Canada to the U.S. So we have made a very strong commitment to providing you with first-rate relocation support when it comes time to making that move. I referenced earlier the fact that currently, as we wrap up 2021 and head into 2022, that today there are more positions available for nurses, registered nurses, than ever before. There are positions available in hospitals, whether they be academic medical centers or general or regional hospitals. The United States has an increasing network of what is referred to as specialty hospitals. These are acute inpatient hospitals where, as the name suggests, patients are admitted. They receive acute care specifically in the areas of behavioral health or rehabilitation. Also in long-term care. The long-term care sector is a vital aspect of healthcare in the United States. And also we find great demand and opportunity for nurses to work in the area of dialysis, both in outpatient and inpatient settings. The number of opportunities available, as I said, has never been greater. And today, we at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions are recruiting for more positions than we have ever recruited for in the last 23 years. I mentioned more employers. We have here just a smattering of some of the employers that we are currently working with. This is, again, by no means complete or exhaustive in any way, but simply to give you a visual representation of employers in all sectors of the U.S. healthcare system. What I would like to do is to spend a few moments speaking with you about things that you can do to optimize your opportunities, okay? And this is really important information, so I would ask that you kind of hang in here with me as we work through these next couple of slides, because I think the information here is really important. Again, we will have time set aside for a question and answer period here before we wrap up. We're also going to try to keep to a 1 hour time frame today to be respectful of everyone's schedule. So please stay tuned and stay with us for the question and answer. And we'll also, at the conclusion of this presentation, be sharing a very important link, internet link, where you can go and find further valuable information that you can use as we go into the new year ahead. So let's talk for a few minutes about things that you can do to optimize your opportunities. Let me say this before I even get into these points. There is a great need for registered nurses in the United States. There is a great need for registered nurses in most parts of the Gulf region. But particularly in the United States, US employers are not looking to hire new graduates or nurses with no current experience. The number of new nursing graduates, domestic nursing graduates in the United States, is at an all-time high. And most employers in most locations are able to hire a sufficient number of new graduates for their facilities. Where the challenge lies, particularly for US employers, is hiring what they call those mid-career nurses. These are nurses with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of experience, maybe 2 years, still very much in the front half of their career, but they come with valuable experience already as part of their background. That really is what US healthcare employers are looking for. So when we make this first point here, it says, if you are working in a bedside position, don't stop. That is the type of position that US employers are recruiting for in 2022. US healthcare employers, by and large, are not recruiting nurses from abroad to fill administrative positions, to fill case management positions. They're not hiring nurses from abroad to fill manager level positions initially, although those opportunities for promotion do exist. They are looking for nurses capable of providing care to their patients directly at the bedside. If you are working in a bedside position, the best thing, aside from taking and passing the NCLEX exam, that you can do is don't stop. All right. Now, I also want to acknowledge that it is easy for me to say that sitting here in North Carolina, when nurses, particularly in the Philippines, are confronted with the option of working in non-bedside positions for various types of business process outsourcing or BPO organizations, whether they be insurance companies, US case management companies, US utilization review type of companies. I very much understand the lure of these positions and the much higher salaries that they pay, but they are also taking you away from the bedside. It is not to say that US employers will not hire or extend job offers to nurses currently working in a BPO setting, but I will say that it's clear from our experience that you will find that you have far fewer opportunities available to you than your colleagues who are currently working in an inpatient bedside position. So if you are currently working at a BPO, I don't want you to be discouraged. I don't want you to give up. I would encourage you to seek out opportunities, however, where you could maybe pick up 1 or 2 shifts, if not a week, maybe 3 or 4 shifts a month at a hospital or in a setting where you have the opportunity of working directly with patients at the bedside. So again, I want to be very clear, yet I want to be very respectful and very empathetic towards those nurses who are currently working in a BPO type of environment. As much as we talk about there's more opportunities with more employers and more places, I don't want to leave the impression that just because you have the initials registered nurse or RN behind your name, or that you have passed the NCLEX exam, that in and of itself is going to be sufficient for you to obtain an offer of employment, particularly with a US employer, certainly from a top tier US employer. The point I make here is to think ahead. You do have competition. As I mentioned at the outset, and you may recall, there was even a slide that said Nursing has become a global career. Nursing truly is a global career, and nurses from around the world increasingly are positioning themselves by taking the NCLEX exam to pursue opportunities in the United States. So if you are from a country that has a strong track record of migration to the United States, that's fantastic. But please know that wherever you're from, that there is global competition. If you are watching just the scrolling here in the chat feature, you can see that we've probably have nurses online with us here right at this moment, probably from 18 or 20 different countries. So please be mindful and continue to do everything that you can do by strengthening your position. If you are working at the bedside, don't stop. Here's another reality that I want to take just a brief moment to speak to you about, and that is don't be deceived. As the demand for nurses has increased again, particularly in the past 12 months, so have positions being offered by unscrupulous or incompetent recruitment firms. Do not be deceived. We are seeing increasingly organizations presenting their positions as being direct hire positions when in fact they are not. We've recently posted on our YouTube channel a brief video on how you can identify fake direct hire positions or how you can confirm that a direct hire position is legitimate. I encourage you to go to YouTube, search WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions, and you will find that video there. Also, beware when you see recruitment ads that say no experience required. In our experience in working with hundreds of bona fide legitimate employers, we are not working with a single one that is prepared to consider an international nurse with no experience. Where recruitment firms are offering positions with the phrase no experience required, I would encourage you to proceed with extreme caution. These may not be top tier employers, even if they are legitimate. They may be placing you in a position that may in fact not be a bona fide registered nurse position. If you come across this, my advice and my plea to you is proceed with extreme caution. Another very common ploy that some recruitment companies will use is to say, we offer you everything for free. Free NCLEX, free this, free IELTS, free relocation, free. There is no such thing as free. They may be offering to advance certain funds to you, but rest assured, if they are not offering you a direct hire position, anything that they offer you with the title of free is something that they will be reimbursed for at some point in the process, either directly by you or indirectly in the form of paying you a lower salary or requiring some salary deduction from you once you begin working. So when free isn't free, I guess when I say don't be deceived, I'm saying take the time and very, very carefully inform yourself, educate yourself, and make sure that you clearly understand the opportunity that's being presented to you. If it seems too good to be true, it usually is. Okay, remember that. If it appears to be too good to be true, it almost always is. The opportunities are there, good opportunities, legitimate opportunities. Invest in yourself, prepare, and put yourself in a position where you can pursue and receive and accept a great opportunity, not just an okay opportunity or a marginal opportunity where you may be at some risk. Take the time. You're worth it. You deserve it. And don't be deceived. Again, we've talked about a number of options going into 2022. The HealthStaff Global Career Ladder, which is just a summary of the model of starting off in your home country where you are at today and moving to possibly a country in the Gulf region as a stepping stone to either a future deployment to the US or perhaps elsewhere in the world. So this is an option that you have. And as you go into 2022, let me just say this as we're coming up on Christmas here in just a few days' time. You know, having come through 2020 and having come through 2021 and the challenges that these last 2 years have posed, you know, at Christmas time, at least here in America and in Canada, it's a time of very extensive gift giving. And, you know, really, as I've been thinking about this and where many people are at, you know, it occurred to me that perhaps the greatest gift and the greatest gifts that we can share with our friends, with our family, and our loved ones this year as we come to the Christmas season is to share with them the gift of kindness, to share with them the gift of humility, and perhaps to share with them the gift of grace. As they, you know, as all of us can together continue to deal with the world that is very uncertain as we go along from day to day. In closing, before we get to our question and answer, let me also say that in 2022, WorldWide HealthStaff is expanding our recruitment efforts well beyond registered nursing. Many of you are familiar with the fact that we are recruiting for nurse aide positions for non-NCLEX passers. And there's certainly information that we can share with you if that's of interest. You can simply email us at NA, which stands for nurse aide, na@healthstaff.org. Tracy, if you can maybe just type that into the chat feature. We're also recruiting medical laboratory technologists along with a wide array of other health occupations as we go into 2022. So be a friend, help a friend. If you have friends that are nurses that are working in some other health occupation and they weren't able to join us today, please encourage them to reach out to us here at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions. Please feel free to share the recording of this webinar presentation you will receive within the next 24 hours. And with that being said, Tracy, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to ask you to share some of the more common questions that have been coming in, and we'll do our best to address those.
Sure. Sure. Thank you very much. So I want to thank everybody for sending in all these questions. And I see a lot of nurse aide questions coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. Do I have an opportunity to upscale my job as a nurse aide to a general nurse when I relocate as a nurse aide?
Yeah, great question, Tracy. And the answer emphatically is yes, you do. It is really the basis of our international nurse aide program to identify nurses in their home countries that have completed a formal nursing education program in their home country. For various reasons, they've not been able to take the NCLEX exam. We are able to have opportunities for that type of applicant to receive a job offer from a U.S. employer to come to the United States, again as a permanent resident, begin their career here working as a nurse aide, and then working to ladder up or working to achieve their RN licensure once they are here in the US, and having done so, then continuing their work here in the US as a registered nurse. So a great question.
Here's another question. Earlier in the webinar, you mentioned the GCC and the opportunities there. So someone is asking, what is the procedure to get to the GCC from Kenya? But this could work from just about anywhere.
Sure. So the GCC is increasingly open to candidates from all around the world. The best initial step to take, if that is of interest to you, is to email our colleague. And Tracy, if you can maybe just put Mark's email, mbennett@healthstaff.org, to email our colleague Mark Bennett, who heads up our Dubai office. And Mark will be very, very happy to respond to your initial inquiry.
Thank you. Next question. And this one's employer specific. It's regarding Communicare, who's worked with a lot of nurse aides. Concerning the NCLEX exam, do you know if it is funded by Communicare?
Yeah, that is something that we're still in discussions with them about. So I don't have a definitive answer right now, but certainly once you arrive in the United States as a nurse aide, you'll be in a very good position to take the nurse aide or to take the RN exam rather. And we're continuing to work with Communicare on what that program is going to look like once the aides actually start arriving here.
Good. Can someone apply for a second time if the first interview doesn't go so well?
So if you have been interviewed and your interview did not go well, I would strongly recommend that you speak with the recruiter that you were working with and ask them for feedback on why your interview was not successful. And then let them know if you are willing and able to address those issues, that you would be interested in having a second interview with another employer. There really is no benefit in applying with us a second or third time. Once you apply, your application is in our system. It will remain in our system. But if your initial interview was not successful, my encouragement is take some time, reconnect with the recruiter on the health staff team or the HRPC team that you were working with, and get some feedback as to what it is that you might be able to do to improve your probability of success in a subsequent interview.
Okay, thanks. Next question. Can one apply for the GCC region while on a WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions US program?
Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. And one of the really great features of sort of our global career path is, you can get to the GCC in a matter of months. Currently, US applications are easily taking 18 months. So we're working now with candidates that we help to relocate to the GCC. And as soon as they get there, we're able to get them started with their US applications so that time is already running even while they're working in the GCC. So the answer is clearly yes, that is very possible. And in fact, that is something, sort of a track or a path that we very highly recommend.
Next question. And this is really just, I think, waiting for update kind of question, but a good reminder to everybody. Ron, if you could just let everyone know, for those who are waiting for available positions to be placed on, are there any updates for those waiting for details?
Sure. I can see that there's many questions from individuals that appear to have applied for a nurse aide position. asking when it is that they may be scheduled for an interview. Let me say this so that there's hopefully no misunderstanding. We are not ignoring any of your applications. When we rolled out our nurse aid to RN program in March of this year, the response that we received was simply overwhelming. And while we have, since March of this year, recruited and placed almost 1,600 candidates, which is a very significant number, we have to date received almost 25,000 nurse aid applications. We've kept all of these. They are all on file. We are working our way through these. Candidates will be contacted as their name comes up. But as you can imagine, with that volume of responses, we're simply unable to respond to each person individually. And we're doing our very best to sort through these applications in a way that we can get well-qualified candidates scheduled at an appropriate time. We expect to be able to schedule another 1,500 to 2,000 nurse aid interviews in 2022. But even that number, added to what we've already done in 2021, is much less than the number of applications that we have already received. So please don't take offense if you have not heard back from us. It's not that we have disregarded or misplaced or that we're ignoring your application. It is simply a recognition of the vast volume of applications that we have received.
A question that just came in or a little bit ago was, will I be allowed to share today's recording with colleagues because they were unable to register for the webinar? And of course, the answer is yes.
Yes, absolutely it is, Tracy. Yeah. So feel free to share the link. You can forward it to your friends, forward it to your colleagues, post it on your social media channels. I believe the information that we've shared here today will be helpful to far more people than those that were able to join us live today. I know that we have even many more registered for today that weren't able to join us live. They'll also receive a recording. So by all means, please feel free to share this link with anyone that you feel may benefit from it.
Here's a great question. Someone simply asked, what are the requirements to apply? But I think this is a great opportunity to discuss the requirements to apply for an RN versus a nurse aid position.
Yeah. So if you are applying for an RN position in the United States, first and foremost, you have to have passed the NCLEX exam. Secondly, we are looking for candidates for most positions with a minimum of 1 to 2 years experience at the time of interview. And we're looking for candidates with experience really in all clinical areas, in all practice settings. If you're looking to apply for a registered nursing position in the Gulf, you'll have to complete the licensure requirements for the specific Gulf country that you're interested in. We can help you with that. Again, there they are looking for nurses that have at a minimum 1 to 2 years of experience. It's a requirement actually in most countries there to even obtain a license. And again, if you just contact us at recruiting@healthstaff.org for opportunities in the US, or NA@healthstaff.org for nurse aid opportunities, we'll certainly respond. Tracy, could you, I don't know if it's possible, but could you maybe post a link to our GCC landing page? Because I think really that's going to be the best way that applicants can apply for GCC positions. Is that possible?
Let me go ahead and get that, and I'll post that shortly here.
Okay, all right. So just while Tracy's doing that, and I know we're at time here, we're even a little bit past time, And I know there's many more questions that have come in that maybe we haven't been able to respond to. It's difficult in this format for us to respond to case-specific questions. If you are an existing health staff candidate, please connect with your case manager. They're in the best position to help you. So please be sure to do that. We shared a link. Tracy shared a link earlier in the chat that will take you to some valuable information, additional information about how to evaluate a job offer. I remember earlier I said don't be deceived. That will help you in evaluating job offers. So if you do have questions that we weren't able to get to today, if they're just general questions, info, you can email us at info@healthstaff.org. If you'd like to apply for a U.S. nursing position, it's recruiting@healthstaff.org. You'd like to apply for a nurse aid position, it's NA, nurse aid, the letters NA@healthstaff.org. And Tracy, any luck with that landing page?
Yes, I just posted in the chat.
Okay, so we'll just stay on for a moment so that everyone can have the opportunity of picking up that link that will enable you to make your inquiry for positions in the GCC. I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking time wherever you happen to be in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime where you are. It is a great honor and a great privilege to be able to share with you. We sincerely appreciate your interest in WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions. And as we come up again to this time of Christmas, whatever your faith tradition may be, where you are in the world, at this particular time of year, I wish you all a time of joy and peace. And as we look ahead to the new year, I wish us all, and I wish each and every one of you much success and great prosperity. And the WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions team is here for you. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to working with you in the year ahead. All the best. Thank you again, and bye for now.